Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steez! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. I'm simply got you think they slate, dropping unrealistic mad, who can takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the millie, never hear me preach, flip on to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals that feel the day. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day. And this is an interesting sports talk with Nicky Steez here, because this will be the first time in a while that I'm actually going to have more to talk about than just basketball. We're still going to talk basketball. We'll talk about the Summer Olympics for sure, but we actually have some NFL to talk. And if you see the title, there's something else we're going to talk about too. And we'll dive right into that. Skip Bayless departed from FS1. He did his final show, aired for Undisputed on Friday. Man, it's amazing. Skip had an 8-year run with them. Because remember, he was one of the main personalities at ESPN. He was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. Then all of a sudden, he parted ways from that 2016. Landed on FS1. Shortly afterwards, Shannon Sharpe was on board. Skip, you have Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. They had a 7-year run on the air. And we're over the past year now, it's Skip not been the same for Skip. Like, Undisputed has not had the same flair it's had when Shannon Sharpe was there. Because when Skip and Shannon were on the air as the host, they had a great chemistry with each other. Whether it be the stage debates about, Tom Brady or LeBron James, or the stage debates about who's the better teams, this and that, or them talking about social political issues or issues off the field or off the court, whatever the case may be, even occasionally throwing some talk about boxing in the mix, like with Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Manny Pacquiao, and those guys. They had good chemistry with each other. It was going good, but then all of a sudden, everything took a sour turn and their relationship fell apart. It really started late 22 into early 23. Most notably with Tom Brady, when you actually saw him statistically decline, you saw his play decline, and the Bucs only made it to the playoffs with an 8-9 record, but Brady statistically didn't look the same. It really started there. They were getting into discussions about it, and Skip Bayless, being a big Tom Brady fan, became desperate to defend Brady, even going to the point in his debates when Shannon was pointing out, hey, you see some decline. Last year was his last great statistical year, because that was what Shannon was saying. But then Brady was like, Skip was upset. He couldn't find a good point to reiterate. So he started attacking Shannon, going, oh, you're mad because you had to leave the game early. He took a bunch of personal attacks at Shannon Sharpe that were disrespectful. Talk about, oh, you're upset because you had to retire earlier than Brady. You're upset Brady lasted longer than you. And that was ultimately a sign of disrespect. That was a sign of Skip getting personal with Shannon instead of staying on subject with football. And that's an example. And right there, it all started, the downfall with them. And then after that, you had the whole thing with Damar Hamlin. Skip's insensitive tweet about Damar Hamlin's situation and the NFL's decision to just call off the game. I mean, Damar Hamlin was basically, he was dead on the field, unofficially dead. He had to be revived, and he's fortunate that he's still alive today. And the NFL decided, okay, that's enough to stop the game. And Skip made an insensitive tweet about why all of a sudden now does the NFL seem to care? Why all of a sudden now with a playoff spot and seating on the line is this so important? And everyone rightfully roasted Skip and condemned what he said. Like, Skip, a man was laying dead on the field. Some things are bigger than the game of football. You really think the football game is more important than Damar Hamlin? There's no way it was. You saw how the players reacted, and as soon as the game was called, fans both. And remember, the game was in Cincinnati. Bills fans that made the trip to Cincinnati and Cincinnati Bengals fans gathered outside the University of Cincinnati Hospital, where Damar Hamlin was rushed to, and lit candles to say a prayer to the man. That was obviously an example of something bigger than the game of football. And Skip Bayless, being so insensitive and only focused on the sport itself, made that tasteless tweet. And Shannon Sharpe, remember, did not show up the following morning on that January 3rd, Tuesday. He did not show up to work because he was outraged about the tweet Skip made. And then, and you really saw from there, that was the beginning of the end to me of their relationship. And then last summer, Shannon parted ways. You know, he's still doing Shannon Sharpe is still doing his own thing on Club Shay Shay on Spotify. And he's on ESPN now with Stephen A. Smith a couple days a week. And if you listen to them, this is where things come into perspective over the past year. I've listened to a few of those, particularly during football season, those first takes that Shannon was on. And then I tried listening to a few Undisputeds with Skip, with Keyshawn, Richard Sherman, just out of curiosity. You can clearly see the difference. Clearly, there's better chemistry with Stephen A. and Shannon. You can see they have good rapport with each other. They're actually meeting up outside of work. You can tell the chemistry they have. And Skip, you know, he does not want, and Skip, he could go back to ESPN, but I don't think he's going to. I think he's burned too many bridges at ESPN. And I don't think there's going to be a reunion with him and Stephen A., even though some people want to talk about it. And the reason why is, look, Skip and Shannon had the fallout. It started over Skip Bayless's stubbornness. I think he was a bit jealous that Shannon Sharpe had other platforms that he was successful with, most notably Club Shay Shay, outside of Undisputed. And we started to see Skip Bayless get more condescending and disrespectful and hostile with Shannon Sharpe during these debates, not even the usual stage back and forth. And so that led to the fallout there. And now you see Stephen A. and Shannon having good rapport with each other. You can tell they're on the same page. I don't think, Stephen A. doesn't want to mess that up. He understands this is good for his brand and this is doing well for his ratings. He doesn't want to mess that up. So he's not going to bring in Skip Bayless back. So I don't know where Skip goes from here. I think even if he does try to stay in the sports journalist world, which he's going to because he's in his 70s, this is all he's done his whole life. That's what he knows. From his time covering the Cowboys, the ESPN, to FS1, Skip Bayless knows sports journalism. He's not at that point where in his 70s he's going to start all over again fresh. But I don't think there's really anywhere big for him to go. I mean, he could try to have maybe as a son or someone, that is more tech savvy. They could help him set up a podcast online. But at this point, interest in listening to Skip is low for me. I don't think people are going to want to tune into Skip Bayless anymore. They're more interested in, us, the YouTubers doing this. People in their house using green screens, talking about sports from a computer during their time away from work. They're more interested in us than they are some of the mainstream personalities. Like the Hardcore Sports Network. We're more interesting than some of these guys in sports journalism at this point. And Skip Bayless, he had a good run. He had a great run being a troll, and being able to do enough to get people to talk about him. And that was part of his spiel too. Skip was at times a troll too. Like I remember on First Take when he said that Michael Jordan in his 50s could come back and still dominate the game. He indicated, that's what he tried to imply and indicate, which I believe he was trolling personally just to get people talking because he knew it'd get a reaction from the public and it worked in his favor. So Skip sometimes had a tendency of being a good troll to get people talking and get discussion going. But now he's gone into an entirely different category where he really lost a lot of people with that comment about DeMar Hamlin. And some of the people that like to roast him that would just tune in and see, oh, what's this idiot going to say next? Skip's an idiot. What's he going to say? What arrogant talk's going to come from him? But he burned that bridge with the DeMar Hamlin deal. So I think it's pretty much the end for Skip, unofficially the end for Skip Bayless. Because I don't see what he's going to do to stay relevant at this point. Even you saw FS1 that final year on Undisputed, he was trying to bring in guys like Paul Pierce, Keyshawn, Richard Sherman. It just didn't have the same intrigue. And even brought in a few Facebook, podcasters, which no disrespect to them, but it doesn't have the same level of interest as Shannon Sharpe. And Skip was desperately trying to recreate that interest with downgrades in personalities. No offense to any of those guys. No offense to Paul Pierce, Richard Sherman, Keyshawn Johnson, any of the podcasters that came on Undisputed, Lil Wayne. No offense to any of those guys, but it just does not have the same level of intrigue. And that's why ultimately Skip's attempt to keep FS1 going did not work out. To me, Skip Bayless's legacy at this point is that of a guy who made his mark covering the Dallas Cowboys, which was a good place for him. Cowboys are the most popular team in the NFL by virtue of their having a large fan base and by the others that hate them, such as us. In some way, we contribute to the Cowboys being the most popular topic in the NFL. So we got famous off of that. Then he went on the TV on his own. He found a spiel that worked. He knew how to say some outrageous stuff to get people talking, and it worked in his favor. But now he's done to me pretty much. And I'll leave it at that. So for FS1, I think they're going to have to reshuffle their whole lineup to keep themselves relevant. They are. But I just don't know how that's going to work. I mean, I think one thing I can say for sure is they're definitely going to have an immediate downgrade for sure. Now, maybe if they reshuffle everything, they find the right personalities, maybe over time they'll slowly start to crawl back into relevancy and bounce back, but that's a big if. That ultimately depends on what FS1 does to the network to maintain the fans' interest. That's really what it's going to come down to. And we got Daniel Berry joining in. Yes, happy Tuesday indeed. I hope you're having a great Tuesday where you're at. As you see, I'm kicking it in my home. Talking about Skip Bayless departing from FS1. I mean, really, yeah, there's not much else to say except FS1. We'll see what the future holds for them. It depends on whether or not they can successfully bring in personalities that can intrigue people and get them to tune in like they had really with Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed, because you saw that past year, they didn't have the same level of interest. It was Shannon Sharpe, but we'll see what FS1 does in the future. They're definitely going to have an immediate downgrade in interest, but we'll see if they can rekindle some of that magic sometime in the future. But with that being said, we are going to switch gears now. First, we're going to do a little bit of live coverage right now because we got some basketball right now. We're going to do some live coverage of Team Canada versus Team France. Let's go. We're going to talk about what's going on there, folks. And we got France is up 50-34 against Canada in the third quarter, which so far is a surprise right now because we saw France in some of those games. They weren't really as we saw in that game against Germany. It was a bit of a surprise. And knowing that Canada's 3-0, we thought Canada would come in as the favorites here. But so far, it looks like we got Wemby's cold so far. He's only got 2 points and 3 rebounds. And look at Rudy Gobert. They haven't put Rudy Gobert in yet. But hey, France is still doing their thing. You got Cordonier's got 16. You got 14 for Yabasum. So far, France doing so. Let's see what's going on here. You got SGA's got 15 points, Only 5 for RJ Barrett. Dylan Brooks hasn't really contributed much except 3 fouls and 3 rebounds. So far, it's not looking too well for Team Canada. And we got Jamal Murray has had 5 points off the bench, 2 for 6 from the field. Now, the problem is they'd haven't updated minutes played, so we don't know how much time these guys are playing. But so far, yeah, Team Canada's a bit of a surprise. Look, Team Canada got a free throw in. And we'll definitely be back with an update on that in a moment. We're going to talk about some of the other games. First, I'm going to talk about just not too long ago, Serbia beat Australia in overtime, 95-90. And I did actually manage to catch the end of that game because a few hours ago when I was looking around, I wanted to see what happened earlier with Germany and Greece. I got to briefly glance at that. I was taking notes about that game because that was at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So obviously, I didn't get to see it. Now, we're also going to go through a quick recap of this game as well. And I did catch the end of that game, which I'll talk more about that. So we had in Paris, Nicky Jokic had 21 points, 14 rebounds, and Serbia surged back to beat Australia 95-90 in overtime to reach the Olympic basketball semifinal. They will await the winner of Team USA Brazil today. So it looks like, most likely, we will have that game. That Bogdanovic had 17 for Serbia, which rallied from a 24-point first-half deficit to set up the meeting with either U.S. or Brazil. As indicating, Serbia's aiming for its first Olympic medal since the 2016 games in Rio de Janeiro. We're going to scroll past that stupid ad where it took silver. That was the first Olympics for Jokic, but yeah, that was a tough game right there. But I got to give a shout out to Team Serbia for being able to do what they were able to do. They went in there and took care of business. They faced adversity. They came back. And Jokic had a monster game, 21, 14 boards. Obviously, Bogdanovic led the way as well. Now, I did catch the end of that game. It was a close game. And I remember we were at the point, when I turned on the TV for that game, it was a close game. Yet Mikic from Serbia seemingly had closed the game, putting them up by 3. And then Patty Mills tied the game at 82 with 1.4 seconds left, and that set us up for overtime. In overtime, hey, Serbia ended up helped close the deal. You got Patricia, the guy's name from Serbia, made the steal, and then they put the ball in Bogdanovic's hands, which set up the foul. He went to the line, set it up to a 95-90 game, and then it was settled. It was a deal from there. Giddey made the game-sealing steal with about 10 seconds left to make it official, and Serbia ended up beating Australia in what appeared to be a good game. So I was actually glad I got to at least catch a little bit of that. And I got to see the finish, which is the most important part of the game. So that was a nice little game right there. So congrats to Serbia on the win. And it looks like everything goes according to plan. We beat Brazil in the final game today to set us up for the semifinals against Serbia. And then the winner of that Canada-France game will play Germany, who defeated Greece in the opening game 76-73. Now in that game, we saw Wagner end up having 18. Schroeder had 13 off the bench, and he was a valuable piece off the bench, I guess. But credit to Germany, though. They've actually put up a good fight so far. They've actually made it all the way to the semifinals. Because going into it, we thought that maybe with Giannis being the superstar, he'd find a way to carry Greece to the semifinals, possibly. Because Germany, while it has a few nice names like Wagner and Schroeder, we don't see those guys necessarily as stars. We see Giannis as the star. And we thought, okay, maybe Giannis could carry this team, but that obviously wasn't the case. Now, maybe for some Europeans that know more about the overseas basketball, maybe they saw this coming. Maybe they thought that Germany had a chance. Maybe they believed more in them than we did as Americans. Because to be fair, we only see part of the picture with these overseas teams. We don't really see how good they are until they actually step on the court for the Olympics. And that's what happened with Germany. We didn't really know how well Germany would mesh as a team, how well they'd play together until they actually stepped on the court. Because we're only familiar with a handful of names, Wagner and Schroeder, who are leading the way, but we didn't really take into consideration would they mesh well with their teammates. Something that Greece didn't do so well with. But yeah, hey, so but Greece to me, like I said, is the biggest disappointment. It was mainly Giannis ball hogging and carrying the team, but it didn't go as well as planned. He wasn't able to successfully carry this team all the way through because they had a few losses along the way. Now, they did lose to Canada early, but we expected that. We expected Canada to defeat them, but we had a few games like we discussed last week on Sports Talk when we were discussing the Olympics. I was on here discussing it last week, and I said Greece just doesn't have the chemistry for Giannis to carry this team all the way, and it officially happens today with Greece being out at the quarterfinals and Germany moving on. But I got to give credit to Germany, man. They found the rotation of guys that know how to make it work. They know how to take charge of the game. It's worked in their favor. Now, Greece did play well early in the first quarter, but ultimately, as the game went along, Germany caught wind, and Germany was able to keep the ball more. Greece had 15 turnovers to 10 for Germany, and that played a role in the game as well, especially being that it was a close 3-point game. Those couple extra turnovers that could have been buckets for Greece completely flipped the script and led to Germany getting the 3-point win. So in these close games, we got to look at turnovers as a factor too. But hey, man, like I said, but shout out to Germany, man. They'll be waiting the winner of this Canada versus France game, and we'll ultimately have to see what happens, man. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to put some not copyright-free music in the background for it. And then when I come right back, we're going to discuss Team USA Brazil a little bit, give me my thoughts going into the game, see if we have the lineup ready, give us some live update on Canada versus France. Then we're going to talk a little Eagles football, baby, to close it out. So stay tuned. Be
the Blaze Radio Network and Hardcore Sports Network here on YouTube. Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, it's the NFL Red Zone Show. All the games, play-by-play, live game audio, and statistics. Join me, Blaze McCoy, with some wild and wacky commentary like always, and enjoy 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 games or more all at once. Every big play, every touchdown, the Red Zone Show. In case you can't catch your game or want alternate commentary, stop by and enjoy the ride. It's non-stop football action. Right here on the Blaze Radio Network, right here on YouTube, Hardcore Sports Network, the Red Zone Show coming this fall. Every Sunday at 1. See ya in my stream.
Slam dunk! Oh, me, oh my, what a play!
And I'm back, folks, after a quick break. So shout out to Blaze Radio. He'll be doing Red Zone coverage on Sundays for the NFL season. So make sure to tune into that right there. Also, Blaze, one of my compadres on the Pick and Roll podcast, we do every Wednesday discussing basketball news, which we will be doing tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 82. And speaking of basketball coverage, we're going to do a quick live update on Team Canada versus Team France. We're going to take a look at the box score and see what's going on currently. So right now we got France is up 56-47. Canada is inching in on the lead and making the game closer late in the third quarter. We'll see what happens there. Maybe by the time this stream's over, we'll have a result, or maybe we'll be close to having a result. And we will definitely be back with that right there. Now, we're just briefly going to touch up. We got Team USA versus Team Brazil. Let's see if Team USA has announced the starting lineup yet for today's game. If so, I'll share the screen with you guys and let you know what the lineup is. So that game will be coming later today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the USA Network. Let's see. Do we have the starting lineup for Team USA yet? If so, I will share it with you guys. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And if Team USA wins, which is they're expected to, they will play Serbia in the semifinals. We need to see what's going to happen, though. We do believe for sure, I can say LeBron James, I'm sure, will be in the starting lineup. Right there. I'm sure we'll see LeBron James. Because, you know, he's been leading the way for Team USA, just absolutely balling out for them. And Kevin Durant possibly as well. They should be there. Okay, features incredible lineup, including, I'm on Sport Yahoo, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, but that's not the starting lineup right there. Let's go down, see if we got the lineup for guys. Okay, nope, we don't got the starting lineup. We're just getting the team lineup right here. Okay. But so far, we do not have the starting lineup for Team USA official yet. But we will, hey, you know, the game's not for a few hours anyway. So I'm sure we'll probably be off the air by the time that happens. And then I'll be back later. Probably drop a YouTube short on my channel, which is the short videos, 1 minute or less. Which you guys that do YouTube on a regular know what I'm talking about. But we're going to switch gears for a little bit to some football. And now we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. It is the preseason, but we finally got Eagles football back. Even though it's only preseason, just seeing that the Eagles are going to be stepping on the field for a football game gives us that sign that, hey, football season's right around the corner, folks. Let's get ready. So, yeah, I'm at least happy about that, even though it's not official. And we definitely need something for the Eagles this season, because definitely something to get the taste out of our mouth from that poor finish to the season, where we started off the season red hot. We started off at 10-1. We were looking like contenders for the Super Bowl. We defeated the Buffalo Bills in overtime with that Jalen Hurts walk-off touchdown in OT to seal the game. And that was a good win. But then we had to play the 49ers the following week, and it was going. That was a huge game going into it. The two top teams in the NFC rematch from the conference championship game. And we all know what happened there. But it wasn't just that one game. Everything fell apart that day. Everything fell apart that week 13. And we've been looking to watch the taste out of our mouth about that ever since. So at least we got the Eagles are back this season. We got a new lineup going into this game. We got Saquon Barkley, now a Philadelphia Eagle, behind a better offensive line. But, hey, we still got to get through the preseason first, see what's going to happen. So the Eagles will host the Ravens for their preseason opener coming on Friday night. Now, we're not expecting to actually see the starters play much. Now, I would like to see the rookies at least get some playing time. I'd like to see all the other rookies. I'd like to see Cam Jurgens get some playing time to actually see what he can do against starters, to see if he's right for that role. I feel with that center battle, personally, I think the Eagles, you guys let me know, do you think the Eagles should rotate starters for the preseason just to see what they can do? Like, do you think maybe they should go Cam Jurgens this week as a starter and go, what's his name, the rookie again? The rookie they just drafted. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull up their roster right here from their website. Unfortunately, I'm not going to share it with you guys on my computer because my computer doesn't respond well to it. But yeah, I think the Eagles, I don't know. Mainly I'm looking to see the guys fighting for position battles get some playing time, particularly at center, because we're going into this no Jason Kelsey, so we have to see what we got at center. I mean, you got Dylan McMahon, who's a center guard. Of course, Cam Jurgens, the guy who we initially drafted to be the replacement for Kelsey, but he's definitely got to get this first start. We have to see what he can do. If the Ravens do decide to put their starters out on the field for a few drives, a drive or two, hey, let us put our starters out there too. Let Cam Jurgens go out there, get the start. Let's see what he can do. Maybe Cam Jurgens, give him 2 drives or give him the quarter, which I think is the smart move, just to give him some playing time. Because you got to give these guys that are on the roster some playing time to see what they can do, especially the ones fighting for position battles. I think on the defensive side of the ball, you got to do the same too. Yeah, Quinion Mitchell, you got to at least give him at least a drive or 2 in this opening game, I think, just to let him get his feet wet. Now, obviously, the results of this first preseason game isn't going to indicate whether or not they're qualified. It is really, for Quinion Mitchell, it would be just his first time stepping on an NFL field unofficially. We got to give him some time to adjust, which is why I'm in favor of giving Mitchell some playing time. Let him go out there, get his feet wet. Let him make his plays. If he screws up, let him learn. Let the coaches talk to him about what went wrong. Let him learn from those mistakes so we can get better. Then let him come out week 2, get a practice drive or 2 so we can get that experience. Try to get some of those rookie mistakes out of his system, or as many of them as possible, before the start of the season. Now, granted, it is only going to be his rookie season in the NFL, so we're not going to expect him to be the greatest thing in the world first season. But I would like to at least see him maybe get some time during the preseason, particularly in this Ravens game, just to get a little bit of experience. I feel like the more experience he gets, the more likely, we're going to quickly see where he's at. And we're going to see what he's good at, what he needs to work at early. And then we can go from there and decide what he needs to get better with. So they'll to see with that right there. But I think this Ravens preseason game, my expectations are let some of the rookies, let the guys fighting for roster spots go on the field play. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what their individual performance is, what they're good at, what they need to work on, and we'll go from there. Well, I'm not really expecting much from this game except looking out for the individual performances. You guys that have been my long-time followers, I go into every preseason the past 3 years, 21, 22, and 23, with the mindset of it's all about individual performances. Let's see how the players that need to prove themselves, that are not guaranteed to make the roster play, let's see what they do to show whether or not they're qualified to make this team or not. Let's see. So that's going to be my big thing I'm looking out for right there. But the game, it will go down on Friday night. We will ultimately see what happens. Now, I will not be live for that one. Now, I will do a post-game. I'll do like a post-game short video, and I'll discuss it next week on the Sports Talk. I'll definitely be on here to talk about the Eagles-Ravens game more in depth. I'll talk about the plays that I was impressed with, the performances that I liked or didn't like from this game, and we'll go from there. Now, one thing I can tell you for sure is we will not see Cooper DeJean because he's still out with an injury. He will be a few weeks. And we're also going to talk quickly about some other news right there. we'll talk about some other news that happened. We did have a few things go happen with the Eagles that are at least worth acknowledging. This is from IG. We got Eagles signing former Jaguar linebacker Shaquille Quarterman. He's been signed to the roster. Hurts has gone 132 pass down 90. Training camp notes, 50,000 fans showed up. Jalen Carter smoked Mickey Becton on an inside move. Jalen Carter, Isaiah Rodgers, Devin White, and Nakobe Dean star with first team in possession battles. And that's another thing, too, we got to talk about. Particularly at 9 linebacker, we got to see what Devin White and Nakobe Dean do. I particularly want to see what Nakobe Dean's going to do for this right here because it appears as if on paper he's the weakest link of this defense because so far through the first 2 seasons, I didn't see much from him. Now, 2022 made sense. We had TJ Edwards, Hassan Reddick there leading the way. We didn't really need Nakobe Dean that season. On our run to Super Bowl 57, we didn't need him. So I get it. The Eagles didn't put him in there. And then you have Brett Toss starting as the first team guy with Landon Dickerson out. And you have a couple passes from Kenny Pickett, but what do they really mean at the end of the day? I mean, what does that really mean? But hey, that's another thing I keep out. Keep in mind linebacker. We got Nakobe Dean, Devin White. Who's going to officially take that spot? Not to mention, we got to see what Isaiah Rodgers does. I feel though Isaiah Rodgers should play. He hasn't played in over a year. He's got to at least get on the field during preseason, get his feet wet a little bit again, get back into the groove of playing football to shake off that rust from his 1-year suspension. I do want to see Isaiah Rodgers step on the field at least, shake off that rust and get back into football shape. See right here, Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. Why not? Why not? Let's take a look at this play while it's up. This all coming from Philadelphia Eagles News IG page. So if you want to check them out, if you're on IG, go on IG, type in Philly, P-H-I-L. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, I'll even share the link in the chat. How about this? So if you guys want to check out the IG page, I'm looking at this from, here you go. There's the link right there if you guys want to check out that IG page right there. Let's take a look. What else do we got? We got Eagles signing former Commanders and Giants veteran Nick Gates. We'll see if he actually does anything significant, though. I also know we did recently sign John Ross. Yes, John Ross from the Bengals and Giants, who I'm not impressed with. In 5 seasons, had 66 catches and 11 touchdowns in 5 starting seasons. Yeah, not impressed. Now, if you're talking 2 seasons, okay, that's a respectable effort for a receiver over 2 seasons, but 5? Only 66 catches and 11 for touchdowns to show for? That's it? I mean, don't be surprised if John Ross doesn't even make the roster. But then again, he might just to have a 3rd or 4th option. But that's another discussion for another time. But the Eagles-Ravens preseason opener, I'm looking for some of our starters to at least play a little bit. Let Devin White, Nakobe Dean, Isaiah Rodgers, Cam Jurgens, those guys at least play a little bit, see what they can do. Also like Quinyon Mitchell, too. I'd say let him play. Unfortunately, well, we won't be able to see him, but unfortunately, we did have an injury. Who was it again that got injured? No, it wasn't. No, Quinyon Mitchell's good. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing Cooper DeJean play as well. I know. All right, so I want to see those guys play. I want to see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. play just to at least let them get some experience, see what happens. But that's really all I'm really looking for out of this preseason opener. So I can't really have anything else to say. All I'm going to say is, let's just see what all I'm going to say is fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get this roll going. Let's shake off the poor rust of last season. Let's get back to a Super Bowl. And let's not let what happened last year set us back. Oh, yes, sir. So really at this point, we'll do one last live update, see what happened with Team Canada versus Team France in basketball. See what's going on there. Right now, we're in the 4th quarter. France is up 63-55, 7:15 left. It looks like Team France is going to win that game and then they'll go on to play Germany. Well, Team USA versus Brazil winner. I think we know who that's projected to be, but we still got to wait for the game to be played. Play Serbia. So I'll leave it at that. So to everyone that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a great Tuesday. I hope you're enjoying yourselves wherever you're at. If you're enjoying some beautiful air, if you're at work, I hope you're having a good, productive day. If you're whatever you're doing, I hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, or if you're catching this on the replay or on Spotify, hope you're enjoying the rest of your day or night. And so until next time, Nicky Steez signing off. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.